Coming up on today's 3 Grand Weddings, our 3 wedding teams will get creative as they plan the decorations for their couple's wedding.
How would everyone feel about making these?
Roger's been watching Blue Peter as well, obviously.
Putting fresh fruit and vegetables inside so they go round the outside. Sorry I haven't got any fresh fruit and vegetables.
I'm Lucy Elliott, founder of thechiefbridesmaid.co.uk and an expert in budget weddings. Did you know that the average wedding these days costs a whopping £21,000? That to me seems like an awful lot of money, and so in this brand new series I'm going to show you how to do it on a lot less. Welcome to 3 Grand Weddings. Today for our teams, it's time to grab that PVA glue and sticky back plastic and get creative with the wedding favours and decorations. But first, some money-saving tips. Here's some I prepared earlier. My first money-saving tip for favours is not to have them at all. But if you're desperate to have favours, then why not make them multi-purpose and double them up as nameplaces? Or go for the low-cost options like seeds or sweets. And finally, have a think about who you're giving your wedding favours to. Are your male guests really going to appreciate an organza wrap full of love hearts? Why not just give them to the ladies? As far as table decorations go, they're not a necessity, particularly in these frugal times. Even the price of relatively cheap decoration can get expensive when you multiply it with the number of tables you're having. Before you choose any decorations, consider what else you have on the table. Along with your cutlery, tablecloths and napkins, it may be too cluttered to have anything else. Remember, less is more, brides. If you really want to have table decorations, then great low-cost options include tea lights on mirrored tiles, scattered flower petals, or my personal favourite, single-stem flowers in antique bottles coupled with bunting. All make really pretty options for your wedding day. Now, with not much budget, our wedding teams are going to have to get really creative with their decorations. It's going to be a lot of fun to see how they get on. All through the series, our 3 wedding teams have been trying to find the best value elements for their couple's wedding. The Surrey team are planning a wedding for new parents, Katie and Jeff. The London team are hoping they can give Enchem and Chickadilly the perfect day. And the Oxfordshire team are doing the best they can for Martine and Jay's big day. At the end of each week, myself and wedding expert Fleur Hagan judge how well they've performed, and the team with the highest score wins a dream honeymoon for their couple. But don't worry, everyone gets a honeymoon, but only one couple can win that star prize. So far, the Oxfordshire team are in the lead, Surrey are in second, and London has fallen into third. How will they perform this time? Last time our teams gave the green light to some exciting and unusual modes of wedding transport. Over in London, wedding planner Becky Gregory found a fantastic alternative to conventional transport, a rickshaw. The design also matches the theme of the wedding perfectly too. Of course, being in London, we couldn't not look at a wedding taxi to take our bride to the church, and I think this white cab looks amazing. In the end, they went for the rickshaw, which I think is so quirky, and I'm sure Chickadilly will love it. Today, Chickadilly and Enchem's friend Opemi and Enchem's cousin, along with wedding planner Becky Gregory, are hoping they can find the right favours and decorations for Chickadilly's wedding.
I think I'd really like for decorations to be colourful, simple, creative.
So guys, it's favours and decorations week. Are you feeling inspired? Ready to get creative.
I have enough enthusiasm for everyone, so don't worry. This is my favourite week.
If you're making things yourself, which is a really good way, sort of cheap way of doing things, then it's a good chance to get your friends involved. Maybe people who do want to help out with the wedding. It's a really nice time to involve them.
I think it's the only way, really, when you're on such a tight budget, to look at DIY.
Ordinarily, when it comes to wedding favours, I would say if you're on a tight budget, just don't bother with them. As soon as the disco starts, everyone's going to leave them on their table and forget about them.
That's why you have to make them good.
So good and on a budget. Is that really possible?
Of course. Absolutely.
We'll find out.
So Becky, I know that you've put together some ideas today, haven't you, in terms of wedding stationery?
Yes.
And those are DIY things that you've done yourself?
I've dealt with the table names, menus, place cards, napkin settings, order of service, that kind of thing, because obviously you need to try and tie it in with your wedding theme.
And I've put together a couple of cheap favour/name place ideas myself.
Oh, lovely.
I must confess, I wasn't quite sure what we meant or why we needed stationery, but...
Pay me.
It will all become clear very shortly.
It will become clear. There's lots of stationery.
We're talking decorations as well this week, aren't we? And you've got a lady coming to see us to give us some ideas.
Yes, Sarah from Zana Events is coming. I use her for my weddings. She's fantastic. She's got lots of different things, chair covers with different coloured bows, sashes. She's bringing oranges and greens, but she also does lots of decorations, bird cages, which I'm thinking of filling with fruit, mirrors to place these things on, lanterns, lots of different things.
It all sounds very interesting.
But it's something a bit different, isn't it, that we can have a look at, so...
Can't wait to see them. In Oxfordshire, it wasn't so much a case of trains, planes and automobiles, more like horses, bikes and tractors. We had a lot of fun looking at all the different options, but in the end they decided on an elegant ride for Martine with the horse. This week, Martine's mum Sue and Jay's best man Simon's partner Hayley will be joined by wedding planner Sandy Moretta. They've decided on a country theme for their wedding, but does this match Martine and Jay's ideas?
I think that the worst thing I would think for decorations would be that they're sort of tacky, that it looks out of place in the venue that they've sort of chosen.
Yeah, and probably that there's not enough of them necessarily. There's just a few bits dotted about here and there, and it still looks sort of like you thought about it but didn't quite get it right.
Either not enough or too much, too over the top. Maybe if they went for a theme, either it be colour or otherwise, that everything's either in a certain colour or in a certain theme, and that could look, you know,
just as bad.
Yeah, as not having enough. So enough decoration and sort of tastefully done, I think.
Yeah.
Hi wedding team, how you doing?
Hi Lucy, fine, thank you.
So, I know you guys have all been really excited this week. What's this?
We looked at horseshoes and how to decorate them. I just asked the farrier if he could give me about 20 assorted horseshoes, which normally they just throw away. I just painted it up, got a paint pen to write on it, and just some yellow sunflowers from the craft shop.
And it goes beautifully with the waistcoats, which we now have.
That's going to be really nice.
I kept 4 horseshoes from our favourite horse that we lost, and I think it'd be very special to do something completely different on at least one of them for Martine.
We're also going to have a look in Flutterby Crafts, and Lynn, who owns Flutterby's, is going to sort of talk us through what we might do. We also talked about tiny terracotta pots. Yeah. And then in terms of decor, I mean, we are rife with ideas. We want to talk about hay bales, wheat sheaves, maybe enamel jugs, maybe milk churns, corn, sacks, using the fruit and veg, as we said earlier.
So do you have an idea of what this budget is?
Well, I mean, at the moment, we've only got £50 in this bit of the budget, which sounds very low, but actually we know we can borrow an awful lot of things. But we could make that 200. We have the money to make it 200 left in the budget.
Finally in Surrey, it felt like we were stepping back in time as they decided the only way Katie could travel to the church was in style in a 1950s Cadillac. Personally, I was rather jealous of Jill and Carol getting a ride. This week, hoping to find the perfect decorations are Katie's mum and dad, Phil and Jill, Katie's auntie Carol, and Jeff's best friend, Roger. They're joined by wedding planner Emily Ianu. So what are Katie and Jeff hoping for with their decorations?
We'd be happy with anything small, I think. We don't want anything too big, too pricey.
Yeah, nothing that takes up too much of my budget.
Yeah.
So, you know, something nice, just something...
Yeah, something small and something nice.
Yeah, it's just a little favour, isn't it?
Hi wedding team, how are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
I would normally say for a budget wedding, wedding favours are probably not worth having. However, as this is a competition and you want to win points towards that all-important honeymoon, it's probably a good idea to have wedding favours because it will give you some good points. Yes. So, I've got a couple of ideas here. First is a decoration idea. Now, don't get too excited because this is from the pound shop. But what I thought was, if you wanted to save money on flowers and just have, say, a single stem gerbia in the middle of the table or a calla lily or something like that, you could then add a bit of sort of visual interest to the table by putting photographs of the bride and groom. Now, I didn't have photographs of the bride and groom, so I put in me and my husband for now on the table just for people to have a look at. So these frames were only £1 each, and they don't look cheap, I don't think. You could then sort of position it so you could have 4 of them, and then just have a single flower in the middle. And I think it's quite fun for people to see photos of the bride and groom as they're growing up, and it's a talking point that helps break the ice. Another thought I had, or a nameplate idea, I bought 6 cupcakes for 99p, and then I bought this little icing kit for about £2.50. What you can do... That's doing this really well at home.
I was going to say, where are you going to put the wine?
Bill. So anyway, say we have a wedding guest coming along called Kat. Well, this could be their nameplate, and it could be their wedding favour. Often name cards, if you buy them, they can be like 30p each, can't they? Yeah. And this, 99p for 6, plus £2. You probably only need 1 icing kit for everyone. And then you've got like a nice little addition to the table.
I think that's quite a nice idea.
Anyway, Emily's brought along loads of ideas herself, which are going to be much better than mine.
Coming up after the break, it's time to get creative as the hunt for the perfect wedding decorations begins. It's time to crack out the sticky back plastic and get arty as we begin the search for the perfect wedding decorations in Oxfordshire at a local arts and crafts store.
These are really the colours that we're looking at.
Right, yeah.
And really just sort of ideas about decorating horseshoes, which we talked about. It's a wonderful example that Sue's been working on here.
With the painting of the horseshoe, you're going to do that as your main thing. Do you want something special for the bride?
Yes,
that's
we
the
were
one
looking
we
at that.
I thought would be if you paint this one a different colour, something a bit lighter and brighter to reflect the fact that it's a wedding.
Yes.
Yeah, and then use the base colours from here, so your gold and your burgundy, as ribbons to weave around it, and then put your flowers hanging down from it, and then you could have a tag that's got the details for them on there. Right, your favours.
At one stage we talked about terracotta pots, didn't we, and flowers in them. So
you can buy smaller versions of these.
Yes, you can. Yeah, I've seen those. Yes,
Yeah,
I've seen them.
real little dinky ones.
You can get tiny ones, yeah.
Could you decorate these?
Yes, you can paint those, and then you could put just a little sachet of soil in the bottom of them, and a few sunflower seeds.
I've been given this bridle by Sue.
Oh yes, I put this
Do you have
down.
any ideas of how we might decorate this?
Well, again, you take your ribbons and you would plait them around it.
We didn't know whether to do something with the reins in some way.
You're growing some sunflowers, aren't you, for the wedding?
We're hoping to, yes, yes.
You could just do yourself a bouquet with your sunflowers. You could even wrap them with a bit of straw or something like that.
Well, after all that talk, I'm dying to get my hands dirty. I don't know about you. Should we go upstairs to the workshop?
Yeah. Lovely. So those ribbons are perfect matches, aren't they?
Absolutely,
Look at that.
yeah. If we put the ribbons through like that, just tie them on the top there. I'll just do a rough tie for now, and we can sort out at the end how we're going to do it. We'll plait them around.
Lovely.
So we're crisscrossing them in different directions.
Yeah.
And this looks really straightforward to do, actually.
Very simple, yeah.
I think even I could do it.
And then you can, so from the sides there, you can tie, once you finish, you can retie that so that you decide whether you want a bow or you want it draped down. Yeah. If you have it draped down, you could put some of the flowers going down.
How much ribbon have you used there? About a metre?
It's about a metre, yeah.
2 metres if we include both ribbons, and that's 35p a metre.
Metre, yeah,
so
70p.
Yeah.
Using the same sunflower.
Lovely. And you get about 5 of these for £1.65.
What colour is the horse?
Dark bay with she's got a white blaze.
So the yellow of the sunflower is going to really stand out. It's going to be beautiful.
We don't have a miniature silver pot, do we?
No.
But you found something in the same size.
That's about the same size as them. You can paint them so that they would match the colour of your horseshoe, or just leave them tin. Because then tin would go with it. Yeah. But if you put your seeds and your bit of soil in, something like that, and then you can just bring them up, tie them with a bit of ribbon, and then pop them in there. That's where you really
so these will obviously be beautiful seeds and soil.
Soil, just a little bag of soil or something like that, and then a little bit of the ribbon going around it. Always remember to cut at an angle.
Just because that looks more attractive.
It also stops the ribbons fraying.
Oh, okay.
Maybe with a little tag, and then on the back of it, if you want people to use that to plant something, just put on there, please plant a plant for us, or something like that. If you put a luggage tag on there, if you get it with the craft style luggage tags, which are brown, and then just take a little bit of a sponge bit of the paint or an ink pad or something like that around it to pick up the burgundy colour.
What do you think of that, guys?
That's really nice.
It's very good. Yeah.
For the gold organza, how much would it cost to buy some sheets of this?
They usually come out about 25p a circle.
Right.
But then if people are buying them in bulk for a wedding, we always discount them down.
We ought to move on to the bride's horseshoe.
What I've got here is a sealer.
Right.
Right. So we're going to use that first off to seal the horseshoe. I would just give it a good coating. Now once that's dried, then what you would want to do is add some of your colour. I'm going to put a bit of the pearl white in here.
Oh, it looks beautiful.
It's just got that lovely shimmer. And then I'm going to add some more of the all-purpose sealer, 1 part sealer to 2 parts paint.
Right, yeah.
You might find that you get a better result if you sponge it on. You won't get the brush strokes so much. And then once that's dried, then give yourself another coat of it. So you're ending up with 3 coats on there. A horseshoe's got so much texture in there. Yes. Any metal's got so much texture in there. I always think it's a shame to completely cover that ribbon going across there with your gold. Yeah. That'd be quite nice. And then just a few of your sunflowers in there.
Thank you so much.
Okay, no problem.
Really good
no
fun.
problem.
It just goes to show what great effects can be achieved with very little time and money. I think those horseshoes look great. Over in Surrey, it's back to the wedding venue where Emily has some low-cost but fabulous ideas for favours.
I've got 8 wedding favours here. This is basically organza. Literally, all I did was squash them together, tied the ribbon around, got this little flower and put love hearts in.
This is £3.85. How many sheets do you get?
I think there's 90. I've worked it out. This whole thing cost 23p. That's one idea, but I've got quite a few more. I've actually put seeds in here. They're sunflower seeds. They actually flower in July or August. So I thought when they flower, it'll actually be a reminder of the wedding. I put 5 in there. You used to get like 5 almonds, and it was health, wealth, long life, fertility and happiness. This was actually my most expensive favour.
Right.
They actually work out at 99p the whole thing.
Okay.
So this could only really be for the women.
Tell me about this one.
Well, this is a cheaper option to the seeds. So I've used a little pot that I got from a garden centre and I've just put the seeds and again the little note.
Now, Phil, what do you have there? Okay, so it's double lined.
There's love hearts and just a little pack of sweets.
I mean, you've got quite a few kids coming to the wedding, haven't you? They'll really appreciate this. Now, that box looks really expensive because it does look like a ring box. Oh. So, could you just remind me of the cost?
It's 50p.
So, 45p for the box, 5p for the love heart.
Yeah.
Now, Roger, what do you have?
Bubbly. It's nice.
And how much do those champagne bubbles cost, Emily?
They're 25p.
Yeah. And finally, Carol, what do you have there?
Champagne glass.
Very nice. In silver.
Yeah, with love hearts in.
They work out about 37p for the whole thing.
So what do you guys think? Does anyone have a favourite?
I think those are good.
We could always just have those ones for the bride and groom or the top table and these for everybody else.
So now we've agreed on this. Emily, would you be able to show us how to make them?
OK, I think everybody should have a go, actually.
Do we have to have love hearts or can we have these?
You can have whatever you want. And someone's obviously been eating them.
Roger, how are you getting on over there?
Oh, Roger's been watching Blue Peter as well, obviously.
How would everyone feel about making these? Would everyone be confident enough to do it?
Yes.
Now, Emily, that's not all you have to show us, is it?
I've made some chair bows. I know Katie really was keen on the idea of having chair covers. Unfortunately, that's not in the budget. But this is quite sweet and it's quite cheap. I got a roll of organza. I cut just over 2 metres roughly, tied a bow, stuck that in, and then there you go. And that cost about 44p. It's really pretty.
Good idea.
Yeah,
it's a really good way of saving money. Guys, why don't we put them on all the chairs so we can see how it will look like? It will also give you a chance to practice. Guys, what do you think?
I do think on the day we'll have to make sure they are quite tight.
Yeah.
Why not get the organza and actually use less of it and put a bow on the top?
Why don't you have a go?
Yeah.
It might not be too much, I don't know. And the bow here.
To make the chairs look pretty.
Make the chairs look pretty and it won't move.
I'm wondering if you can sort of, instead of that way around, put it that way around. So it's something like that. And it goes through the hole there and from the bottom there, so it won't slip around so much.
We've got our 3 options lined up here for you to have a look at. Emily's original suggestion, just having a plain chair, which of course will save money, or Roger's option with the vertical bow. Phil?
I think both look good.
Jill?
Yep, I like Emily's original suggestion.
Roger? He likes
I like mine because I've done it.
And Carol?
Emily's.
So is everyone agreed that we will have chair backs and we're going with Emily's original idea?
Yes.
I think Emily has done a great job, and it just goes to show that you don't have to spend a fortune to get great looking decorations for your wedding day, if you put your mind to it. Coming up after the break, the London team look at some amazing table decorations, and Emily has even more great ideas for her team. This time on 3 Grand Weddings, our teams are trying to find the best way to jazz up their couples' weddings. And in London, the team are meeting with an expert who specialises in fantastic tabletop decoration. Hi Sarah, thank you for joining us today. Now you're from Azana Event Hire, aren't you?
Yes,
and you've come to talk to us about decorations.
Certainly have.
What's the sludge on the table?
This is crystal gel.
So it's not jelly, it's not edible?
No, it's certainly not edible. No, it's not.
So these martini vases would be an option for table centres.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's above your eye level, so you guys can still talk around the table and see each other. And I brought the green gel today to put in for a bit of colour and an option ready for you.
It's quite satisfying.
No, it's nasty.
And this comes in different colours?
It certainly does. Another option would be to have a clear gel and then put some fairy lights inside. You can get ones that can sit in water.
What do you think, guys?
My only reservation is because it's so tall, just sort of being worried that it might topple off the table.
An option would be to have the mirror tile underneath. It kind of adds a defence, I suppose, a boundary.
We could put tea lights around like this as well, so then you'd have this reflecting and the light reflecting off the mirror as well, which would be quite nice.
That looks really pretty.
Yeah, it does.
Bear in mind, guys, that on the tables it will be a square table and we'll have a white tablecloth, and then the idea is to put this over the tablecloth like a table runner.
So what would be your recommendation for some really cheap sort of table ideas?
You can always just fill that up with a bit of water and put some floating candles in. You don't, you know, you don't have to be spending hundreds on flowers. The boxes of petals are quite expensive, but they will do 8 tables. And certainly if you're only scattering a few, they'll do the whole wedding.
I think petals would be better spent
at the bottom,
either on here between the tea lights or just around the mirror.
Sarah, is the gel something our viewers at home might be able to buy?
Yeah, you can buy it online. You could probably find it at the florists. It comes in sachets like this, and you'd probably be able to fill 4 martini vases.
How much does a packet like that cost?
Probably about £4.
So it works out about £1 per vase.
Another option would be to alternate tables. Have one table with something very tall and one table with something small. You can almost do identical on a mirror tile, but with a lower one.
Guys, this is my favourite option. My idea is to actually put some oranges, lemons and limes in here. So again, we could have this and we have the tea lights around.
I've brought some butterflies and you can stick a few on.
These butterflies really set it off.
They do, don't they?
They make a massive difference.
They're fantastic.
And how much do the butterflies cost?
A few pounds for those, but you've got, how many there? About 12.
Okay.
So we could put 4 on.
Yeah.
And that would do 3 tables. So I don't need to bring any that have got glittery bits on or anything. You like it just like that.
If you can get glittery bits on.
Do you think that might be a bit much?
No.
Another option to go with the bird cage was to have some larger bird cages.
We've got a big stage which is about 1.5 meters high, and the band is going to be on there later. But I wanted to decorate the stage so it doesn't look too big and wooden and bland. We could put something in the middle so we didn't actually have to fill it completely.
Brilliant.
And then put the fruit around it, so we just need kind of one layer of fruit, and then that would tie it in with the tables. And maybe we could put some battery fairy lights around the top.
And maybe you could put thread ribbon around it.
Yeah. Orange goes quite nicely on there.
Uche, how would you feel about being the ribbon threader on the day?
I'd have to pass on that.
Oh, that's not the enthusiasm I wanted to hear.
You could get like 25 metres of ribbon like this from eBay for a couple of pounds. It's so cheap. Did you say you did have some lanterns? You have this bird cage here, a lantern here, and a lantern here, and either a candle or one of those little lights inside.
Is this something people might be able to buy?
I know that Matalan have got some at the moment.
Really?
The big one might be £10 and the small one is £4. We'd need one this size and one this side for this side, and then the same on the other side. What do you guys think?
I like it.
I think it's quite nice.
I'm sold.
Especially with the lights.
What are they called?
This particular type is Floralite, and they're the submersible ones. So you can use these in water. But the neat thing about those is, like I said, you can just keep turning them on and off, so you're not wasting battery. What I thought we could do in here is something called crystal pearls. We'd put them in and put the gel on top.
And then it would just glow orange. We wouldn't see that light.
No.
I think that'd be really pretty.
Yeah.
Sarah, is there anything else you can show us?
Yep, I've brought with me a chair cover.
Our venue has got horrible blue plastic school chairs, which would not go with our colour scheme at all. So chair covers, for me, I think for everyone else, were a must.
Okay, I brought with me an orange sash. They'll stay in position better if they're kept small like that. So that's the orange.
How much do chair covers and sashes like that normally cost?
It depends what company you go to.
Right.
They can start at $1.99, $1.75 and work up to $4 or $5, even £6.
So it looks like we're all going for orange. I think that's going to look really good. Thank you so much for coming on, Sarah. Your ideas were awesome and it's really inspired everyone. I love those bird cages, and I really think the team can now start to see the wedding coming together. In Surrey, the team have some great ideas of their own. So Emily, talk us through what's on the table.
This is an alternative to the table plan. Generally you have a table plan, piece of paper, you might sort of get it stuck on an easel. This tree I actually found on the side of a road. I screwed it into a piece of wood, made a base around it, poured in some plaster of Paris. It took about 15-20 minutes for it to set. And then I've got my base. I just painted it white and obviously made these, and you can hang the table plans.
How much did this cost to make?
About £3.64.
That's incredible.
It is, isn't it?
It's quite unique. And obviously, you know, the teal ties all in, and we've got these little flowers again.
Particularly because the bridesmaids' dresses have a little bow here.
Yes.
It looks really good.
In the centre, you would have the name of the table so that they would come and see, oh, I'm on Dirty Dancing table, and I would have a look and then I would find it. You can leave it natural like this, you can spray it. So there's
Very
like a
nice.
silver or a black.
The black one looks a bit bushfire, I think.
It does a bit, doesn't it? Yeah. And also it will bump up the price if you spray it, because you've got to buy the spray
Spray
cans.
paint. Should we move on to the next thing on the table?
Traditionally at weddings you have a book that everybody signs, it goes round, and then more often than not the book gets put in the bookcase and they never read it again. I think it'd be quite a nice idea and cheaper if something like this or this one over here were to go round and people could actually sign them. Then Katie and Jeff can have this. They can put a plant in it, they can have it as a sweetie jar, a fruit jar, it can sit on their coffee table, and all the time they can see all the messages from everybody that was at their wedding. This is actually about £7.20.
That's amazing, because I think that looks really expensive.
Yes, it does.
What I love about this is they can actually put a picture of their wedding picture of them, and then everybody can sign all around the edge, and that's quite nice. It's something they can put up.
How much would that cost, Emily?
It's about £13.
See, that is so cheap compared to the made-for-weddings frames that you get like that people sign.
These were just another idea that I thought might be nice to have on the tables. Just as a couple of candles, you could have perhaps 3 per table. and you can write on them. They cost 25p each.
Was this a wedding favour idea or just decoration?
It was a decoration.
Because it's cheap enough to have as a wedding favour.
Yeah, a glass shot glass.
I think Emily has done amazingly well, and she is so inventive while keeping costs to a minimum. Over in Oxfordshire, our team are meeting with their caterer, who wants to share his ideas for their decorations.
Hi James, nice to see you again.
And nice to meet you all again.
You said that you might be able to help out with a few decorations as well.
These are a couple of ideas of mine that we could use for the buffet table. Something a bit different, using Hessian sacking and an ordinary heavy duty like table linen, and then make it dangle down and make it look like a proper tablecloth. The idea of mine, which I would go for personally, is use this as table linen because it's heavier duty, and then use the Hessian for more decorating ideas. Yes. Use some old farm barrels and just put the Hessian inside a barrel, so tucking it all in. I put it round the bottom of tables, and then putting fresh fruit and vegetables inside, so they go round the outside. And then that, in front of this sort of material, looks quite attractive, and the colours blend in together. And then a nice straw bale outside of that, so it's like that sort of thing. And then some height used vegetables again, or corn harvest sheaf by the side, and it would all look really harvesty. It's something different, never been done before. I've not even done it before.
I think James has given the team a great idea as to what their wedding will look like on the day, and I think he's done a great job sticking with their country theme. In London, I've got some ideas of my own to share with the team.
I know you've always talked about how colourful Chickadilly and Enkem's wedding's going to be, and so I thought a really colourful but cheap wedding favour might be to use sweets. You can get massive bags full of these sweets really, really cheaply. So it could double up as a wedding favour and a nameplate. I know Chickadilly was very keen to have edible centerpieces, and these actually smell of cookies and cream. 3 candles for £1.
Really? One thing that Chickadilly did manage to tell me on our very short meeting was that because of their journalist background, they'd quite like to have the tables named after movie newspapers. This is just orange card. I stuck some newspaper on it, and then I printed this out on my computer. I also did a menu, which again is the same. I've just printed out on my computer, I've stuck it on some newspaper, then I've stuck it on some yellow card. My next idea was to use the napkins, double them up as the place names. These are just dragonflies, but they were reduced to 65p for a big tub like this. So do you want to have a go at making one and pay me? Okay. This copper wire I got from Hobbycraft. It's only a couple of pounds for all of this. They had roses, they had flowers, they had different coloured dragonflies, leaves, everything.
So Uche, have you done this one?
Well, I managed.
That's a pretty good effort, I'd say, for first time around.
With the order of service, once we printed it all out, put a hole at the top in the middle. Roll them up like a scroll. We could put these on everybody's seat in the church, or we could have an usher with a nice basket.
Fabulous.
Now I see why we need stationery.
These are packets of seeds. These are strawberries, and these are flowers, and they come in these little boxes, and I've just tied the ribbon around them. I can get these for 42p each, so about £60 for everybody at the wedding, and they can just be on each person's place. So they'd have a napkin in front of them, and they'd have a little favour.
Thank you for sharing us those really fabulous ideas.
Thank you.
I love those ideas, Becky, and I especially love the table names being named after famous newspapers. I think Enkem and Chickadilly will love this. So that's it, it's decision time, and I think our teams have got their work cut out on choosing the final options for their weddings. The Surrey team were given a wealth of options. I wonder what they'll go for.
How much money do we have to spend on decorations and favours?
Minus £6, right, just over, with the tree.
So guys, you've got a choice. Do you want to go £6 over budget, and that means you'll lose it from your flowers or your cake budget? Or do you want to forgo something, one element of the favours and decoration?
At the moment, over budget, we've got the tree, the frame, the favours and the chairs. Which one would we want to lose, if any?
The
Well, we're actually only £1.
That's what I was going to say, the frame. Because, you know...
There's going to be loads of other memories.
We could stretch to £55. So we're actually only £1.
Well, in that case, why don't we leave everything in and just, you know,
take
lose
£1
£1
off the cake or the flowers budget.
Yeah. But you won't get these.
No. Cake. If necessary.
Then we're going to need an extra £10 Alka-Seltzer.
So we're going without the candles. Good. And and we're going to lose £1 off the flower or cake budget.
Yes.
All agreed?
Yes.
Brilliant. Well done, team. Another successful day. Yay.
So some great choices from Surrey and incredibly cheap too. So from one decision to another, let's find out what our London team will go for.
Well, guys, I feel like we've really been spoilt for choice today. We saw some really cool ideas from Sarah. We obviously had some lovely wedding stationery ideas and supplementary ideas from you, Rebecca. But it's decision time. I think everyone was agreed that they loved chair covers, and then we're going to go for the orange table runner as well.
Yeah.
Yes. We saw a couple of different table decoration ideas. So the martini glass filled with the green jelly, which was really good fun.
It was.
Then the other idea was the square vase on a square tile filled with the crystal pearl and lights.
So we're going to go with those along the front of the stage.
Brilliant. And then for the table decoration itself, are we therefore going for the bird cage filled with the different colours of fruit?
Yes. With the coloured butterflies on as well.
Brilliant. And then wedding favours.
Yes.
So we looked at seeds and sweets and candles and just using the butterfly. Now, what did you guys decide on?
We're sticking with the dragonflies. Because they also double up as a name tag as well.
Yeah.
And they can be taken home for bookmarks or hair decoration.
Yeah, we still got some exhibits.
We're just going to have a basket of seeds, and then
people can help themselves if they do have a garden or
they particularly like the idea.
I think the wedding's going to look fabulous. Well done, guys.
Hopefully.
Another great week.
I love their choices, and I think Chickadilly and Enkem's wedding will look fantastic. So to Oxfordshire for the final decision.
So, guys, I think we've had a really good day today. We've seen loads of different ideas. But just so I can clarify on what you're actually going with, for the favours, we're definitely going for the galvanised tubs with the sunflower seeds in.
Yes, Lynn at Flutterby's has finally kindly given us those doilies,
the organza,
free of charge, which is fantastic. So we can use that. Excellent.
The horseshoes, you're going into industry, covering your own costs by painting the horseshoes, selling a few on eBay.
Maybe, yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
To maybe pay for themselves.
Yeah.
You've got the maroon ones for each of the tables, plus a special pearlised white one for the bride.
Yes, we looked at maroon and yellow, didn't we?
Alternating,
a mixture of different tables.
To add real rustic feeling to the setting, we've got hay bales, muslin cloth, and Hessian barrels filled with fruit and vegetables.
We've got the swags going up already
the
with Lane's
swags
band.
that we've seen.
Didn't Lane's band say fairy lights? And didn't they say we had lanterns?
We'll have the trestles covered in white linen, but then probably either runners, we've said, haven't we?
Checked runners.
Or
nice.
or square checked, almost like picnic tablecloth.
Now, Sandy, this morning when we started talking about decorations, you gave me a budget of about £50.
We certainly started with £50 in the budget,
With all these ideas flying around, do you think that's still achievable?
No, I don't think it is achievable, but we still have some slack. Not a huge amount, but a couple of hundred left in the budget.
Yeah.
So I think if we set ourselves a maximum of 175, if that works for the team, we may well come in under, and that's great, we get ourselves a bit of money back.
Well, I'm dying to find out how your business comes along when we next see you. So we'll see you next week.
Well, if you'd like to buy one now.
So that's it for table decorations and stylings. All the decisions have been made, and I think our teams have done amazingly well this week. After the break, wedding expert Fleur Hagen and I have got the hard task of marking their efforts. Before the break, our 3 teams chose their wedding decorations, and they all had some really fun and different ideas. It's now time to judge how well they've done. Hi Fleur, how are you doing?
Very good, thank you.
So this week we're talking about favours and decorations.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to it.
It's a fun part, isn't it?
Definitely. It really can make the signature of a wedding, this part, so I can't wait to see what they've come up with.
This is an opportunity for them to really flex their creative muscle, isn't it?
Absolutely. This is where we'll sort the men out from the boys. Yeah, can't wait.
Well, let's have a look at the video.
Okay.
So Emily's made some favour options herself to show the team. They'll then choose and then they can make them together.
Okay.
What do you think about wedding favours?
I think they're nice. I think sometimes, though, perhaps something like this as well, the sunflower seeds, maybe just the women on the table and the men can do without. So
lots of people forget about them, don't
exactly.
they? So the wedding favours, they decided to go for the organza bags with sweets in. The bride and groom will get the special Tiffany ring box, which I think is rather nice.
Yes.
And there are lots of kids, so sweets are always going to be a winner for kids.
Kids and sweets go very well together. We're peeling them off the ceiling halfway through.
I really loved the table plan on the tree. I thought that was fabulous.
Excellent. And it looks so classy just sat there and really simple. People will know what to do. I think it was brilliant.
I've never seen anything like that before.
No, and I love the frame thing. I think it's really, really lovely idea.
Brilliant. Well, shall we go on to have a look at the London team?
Yes.
So they're putting water in it.
Okay.
Which makes the consistency look much better, actually.
Yes, it looks like appetizer now. I think that looks lovely.
Yeah. So they're going to incorporate orange, citrus green and citrus lemon into their colour scheme, so it'll go really well.
I really like that. It's really different as well. It's much fresher looking too. I think maybe if the typeface was done on the computer in black, or it was a little bit stronger or not so handwritten looking.
You're right. I know it's an informal wedding, but I think you need a more formal font just for it to look more professional.
Yes.
So what did you think about the London team's ideas?
I think they've done really well.
I love the way that the dragonfly on the napkin doubles up as a nameplate, but you can also take it away and use it as a bookmark.
Yes, very sweet.
They're also saving money on the fact they're not giving seeds out to everyone. They've got a basket of seeds for those who want them. And then the chair backs will look fabulous.
They will. They'll look great. Keeping the orange theme all the way through, I think that's perfect for them.
So on to our Oxford team. One of the wedding team has a friend who sells sunflower seeds in bulk and is happy to give them some sunflower seeds for free.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So they're planning on giving those away as a wedding favour. We thought it looked so professional, she ought to set up her own shop on eBay.
Yes, I think she'd do a roaring trade.
So actually she's going to do that,
Is
and
she?
any money she makes she's allowed to re-employ within their wedding budget.
Brilliant.
We went back to see the caterer because his parents are farmers and they have lots of farming equipment that we'd be allowed to borrow to decorate the venue.
Okay.
So I think they're going to fill that up with fruit.
I think that's a lovely idea. It's going to look really opulent, like Harvest Festival-y feel. It's gorgeous.
And that's exactly the feeling they want to create.
I think that's lovely for the guests because they'll come in and seeing it all in that setting and everything that's going to be happening, it's just going to be really magical. I think it's great. It's a real theme running through their wedding. It's lovely.
So they had some fabulous ideas this week, didn't they?
They had some really good ideas. They've all done really well. It's going to be quite tough to mark again.
But I'm afraid it is time to mark them.
Right.
The Surrey team who we saw first, how much would you award them on the basis of practicability?
I think I'll probably go in the middle and give them something like 8.
I agree. I think they've done really well. They haven't chosen any wildly impractical options.
No.
Moving on to creativity, well, Emily has really showed her skills here, hasn't she?
She really has. She's pulled out all the stops again.
I think I'm going to give them a respectable 8 out of 10.
I think I agree.
Now, the Surrey team spent £56 on their decorations. I think they're getting a lot for their money, don't you?
They really are getting an awful lot for their money. I think they've done really well.
So I'm going to give them 9 out of 10.
Yep, 9 out of 10.
So that gives the Surrey team a fabulous 25 out of 30.
Very good.
Let's talk about Oxford. So for practicability, I think I'm going to give them 8 out of 10.
Yep, definitely. I think 8 out of 10.
For creativity, they deserve a 9 out of 10.
Well, I'd quite like to give them a 10. I think they deserve really, really high score.
We'll agree on 9.5 out of 10.
Okay.
Their money saved, well, they have spent, I think, about £175.
They've got really good value for money there, because for that amount of money, they're going to fill the whole event.
I'm going to give them a respectable 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair enough.
So that gives the Oxfordshire team 26.5 points.
And finally onto the London team. Now this is going to be so fun and fresh with these bright colours and bird cages and all sorts. They probably had to work the hardest on the venue because it's a really, really big space. They've had to spend £250.
Oh, they've spent quite a lot.
What Rebecca has agreed with one of her suppliers is to use them exclusively for a lot of weddings in the future, and therefore has managed to negotiate a really good discount. I think I'm going to give them 8 out of 10.
I give them 8 out of 10 too.
Creativity. Well, those bird cages are quite original, aren't they?
Yes, I really like the bird cages. I love that idea. I'm not so keen on the other things, so I'm actually just going to go in with a 7.
I'm going to give them 9 out of 10.
So we'll give them 8 out of 10 as an average.
And then money saved. Well, they've got a lot for their money, but they have spent the most this week.
I'm still questioning value for money as well. So again, I will give them 7 out of 10.
I'll agree. 7 out of 10 it is. So the London team have 23 out of 30.
Which is very respectable.
Absolutely.
So after a week of sticky back plastic, doing it yourself and things we made earlier, it's time for the scores. Still in third place is the London team with 169 points. Starting to pull away in second are the Surrey team with 171 points, and in first place with 184.5 points are the team from Oxfordshire. Next time, our teams will be choosing the yummiest element of all, the wedding cake. But with only 2 weeks to go before the big day, can anyone catch the Oxfordshire team? There's only one way to find out. See you then.